When I first came to Sydney about 25 years ago, Oxford Street was this like thriving hub of queerness. Sydney's always attracted all the queers from Australia. It's like a place where people come together. My name's Craig Boreham. I'm a filmmaker. I've been based in Sydney, working mainly in the area of queer storytelling for about 20 years. Sydney in the 90s for the queer community was pretty magic. It was very busy, it was very bustling, it was very colourful, it was boisterous, and there was a big enthusiastic scene.
It was pretty different back then because there were a lot of bars all the way up and down the street. You could hop from one to the other, from Patches to Tropicana to Capriccio's, and this is long before the midnight shift opened. I'm Rob Davis. I've been DJing in Sydney for 36 years now and work regularly at ARC every weekend. I remember back in 1989 there was a big dance party almost every weekend, whether it be at the Hordern Pavilion or the RHI or the Dome or Alexandria Basketball Stadium. Now it's not so much those big venues, but more in nightclubs like Home or Chinese Laundry or Ivy. They have, a special one-off function.
Oh, it was fantastic. It was a completely different place. All the shops were full, there were people on the streets, there were bars, we're teeming with people. I'm the owner of the shop, and I co-founded it back in 1982 with my partner at the time, down on Crown Street, and we've been here since 1984.
Well, hello. Come on in, let's have a chat. Oh, it's quite a leap to be a chosen one at Oxford Street. It was called the Golden Mile, and golden it was. Oh, so it was. You couldn't put your finger on it. You couldn't explain it. Mardi Gras every day. Everyone just. It was a celebration. We were here, and we were queer, and we were going to be seen. Oh, she's cheap, nasty, but incredibly naive. And, she's just colour and movement. There's not much to poor old Cindy. Always been cheap and always been nasty. Where's your glasses, Nana? Can you see my glasses, kids? Full of shit. But, the type of shit that you could take home to Mum,
Oh, it changed for a lot of reasons. I mean, some bars closed, the internet came along, changed the way people communicate. There are issues with the street. When the Westfield places opened in Bondi Junction in the city, they took people away from the strip, and it changed the feel. All the fashion places went away, less people. There's all sorts of stuff, but things just completely changed really about 10 years ago.
It's so corporate. All we can do is talk about it and try and reflect to others what it was like, but you'll never ever understand just how brilliant it was.
I think people connect in different ways. They use apps. They meet in other ways. They have different social networks. So, it's a totally different landscape, really. Like back then in the 80s and 90s, the club culture was the centre of socialising as a queer person. But it's not the case anymore.
Previously, you used to have to actually go out to meet people and socialise, whereas with the advent of the internet, like things like gaydar, and that affected the life on the street, and then online dating apps from mobile phones like Grindr and Scruff and Tinder, it put another nail in the coffin. I think it's a combination of a few things. It hasn't died as such, but it's not what it used to be. But then again, that's just the nature of change. People adapt to whatever the zeitgeist is. So it's changed, but like if an 18-year-old were listening to this now, he wouldn't see it as I've missed out on something. All he knows is his own reality from what he's experienced. He doesn't know the old bars and clubs that used to exist, so people make the most of what they've got. So I guess it's a matter of adapting to the times and what's out there.
As you can see at the moment, it's a very, very different, quiet place. It's dead. Yeah, it's gone. People say it will come back, but, you know, in what shape or form, it'll never be like it was. We close early because there's no one around. We used to be open 10 o'clock every night, and then Friday, Saturday nights, midnight. And it was people all the time. It was brilliant. Not so much now.
Oxford Street now pretty much empty. It's dead. Yeah, I guess for me now, Oxford Street is a different landscape. It doesn't have quite the same bustling community that it had back then. I guess the necessity for everyone to be a part of the community is less so because of where we've gotten to in the world. I think club culture has changed. I think that it's not quite the priority of the queer community as it was.
It's not what it used to be, but by the same token, it's not dead. You go out any weekend and Arc is packed. Universal, the old midnight shift, is busy. Admittedly, they're really the only two clubs.
To be dead now? No, it'll never die, Oxford Street. We'll always resurrect and just, you know, have some old queen on a microphone going for it. They can never take that away from us. There'll always be a sequin or a feather on the ground somewhere.